You're watching CBS7 News at 9 on the CW and live on the CBS7 YouTube channel with Alexandra, Macia, and Tom Tieferteller.
It's kind of a live, work, play approach.
Coming up in just a few minutes, plans for a new Preserve at Midland project, a new family-friendly gathering place at what used to be the Nueva Vista Golf Club, have been submitted to the City of Midland. We'll have more on the plans in just a few minutes. Good evening and thanks for joining us for CBS 7 News on the CW, and thanks for joining us live on the CBS 7 YouTube. I'm Alexandra, Macia, and we start tonight with an in-depth look at the Midland ISD bond. On November 7th, Midlanders will vote yes or no to the $1.4 billion bond, which includes the construction of a brand new Midland High School and Legacy High School campuses, updating of the current Legacy and Midland freshman campuses for conversion to middle schools, the updating of safety and security at campuses district-wide. But if residents vote no, all this goes away. The main issue some Midlanders take issue with is how much it costs. Parsley says she wants to see students and teachers be taken care of first and not have this bond be a band-aid to what she believes is a bigger issue.
My thing is the bond needs to be put aside until all of these other things are provided. And I think, honestly, if they were at least moving in the right direction, providing these things, that more people would get behind it.
Parsley and others like her also worry the district is not being transparent about numbers. Tune in to CBS 7 tomorrow night, where we will hear from members of the community who are for the Midland School District bond. And tracking crime now in Ector County, where Commissioner for Precinct 1, Mike Gardner, spoke today for the first time after his arrest in Lancaster County, Nebraska. He was initially charged with child abuse. The Lancaster County Sheriff's Office in Nebraska says back on September 30th, he fired a gun during his nephew's wedding and accidentally hit his 12-year-old grandson with a blank shot. Gardner says the blank was fired as part of the wedding script. It was intended to signal the music should start and the bride should prepare to walk down the aisle. Nebraska authorities believe the gun slipped and the blank, made of glue and black powder, hit the child in the shoulder. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
I'm extremely remorseful and thank God for ensuring his injury was not worse. I take accountability for the accident, and every day I relive those moments with dread.
Gardner told attendees that no further charges have been filed against him. The Lancaster Sheriff's Office says he is out on pre-arraignment bond with a court date set for November 3rd. He says he intends to remain a commissioner and will seek re-election. And Midland police arrested 2 people for murder. Just after 1 a.m. this morning, MPD found 25-year-old Raul Ortega behind a convenience store, beaten to death. Later this morning, MPD arrested 22-year-old Carlos Diaz Jr., who you're looking at right now, and 19-year-old Angel Alvarado. Midland County says he does not have a mugshot as of right now, but we will, of course, keep you updated. And across West Texas, 2 people died and 6 others were injured after an explosion in Pecos on Saturday, according to the Pecos Police Department. Pecos Emergency Services and Pecos PD responded to the explosion at 631 West I-20. When they arrived, there was no fire, but it was evident that a tank had exploded. 57-year-old Raymond Garcia and 30-year-old Angel Alafa were killed. The 6 others at the scene refused medical treatment, but the incident is under investigation. And it's time to take a look at weather. Chief Meteorologist Tom Tieferteller is here to tell us what we can expect. Tom?
Well, it was a beautiful day across West Texas. Here's a good example of that as Robert Krim brought in this picture to us. Emailed it to us showing beautiful cirrus clouds passing over Alpine and northern Brewster County, and look how blue that sky is on that picture. Again, it was a beautiful day. We're seeing mid to high level cloudiness associated with Pacific moisture from a couple of tropical systems down there in the eastern Pacific streaming across parts of West Texas. Made for a pretty sunset out there as we saw temperatures today into the mid 80s across many areas, so a little on the warm side. We've cooled off some as we are looking at some of those high clouds, but very comfortable into the lower 70s at the present present time, and your forecasted temperatures definitely a roller coaster. We're going to be going up a little bit over the next few days before they drop down with a cold front coming up late this week.
Now for a story you might have seen on social media. Plans for a family-friendly gathering place at the Nueva Vista Golf Club have been submitted to the city of Midland.
The average Midlander is 32 years old, and that typically means that there's young families. And so, that's what we are trying to attract. And we think that there are going to be regional and national retailers who see that and understand that.
Bootlick Ranch Property Owner LLC, a Midland-based company owned by local residents, has submitted plans for a new family-friendly gathering place at the Nueva Vista Golf Club to the city of Midland.
Midland has certainly really great park system and a lot of parks and a lot of really good restaurants and retail spaces, but not a lot of them that are so close to each other and or so tightly knit to one another.
The Preserve at Midland project plans include dining, retail, entertainment opportunities, and an acre of green space called the Central Green that can host events like a farmer's market and live music.
You go out and do a 5K, and then you could have, movie night in the Central Green, like after it's over, with some food trucks, things like that.
And a lake.
Drainage studies and things like that are still in the works, and so but we feel pretty confident that we can get to a constant water level.
You see part of the buildings connecting around to the water, getting that engagement up to the edge. So it isn't just a feature in the green space, but it's also interacting with the retail in the office and the food and beverage.
A public trail system will connect the entire site. They estimate it will bring more than 100 new jobs, new sales and property tax benefits, with over 300,000 square feet of restaurant, retail, office, and commercial space. This is a separate project from Zoo Midland, which will be in the same vicinity. The zoo is coming to Midland mid-2027, and the developers of the preserve hope to open their retail space before then. Tomorrow, learn more about the potential of the zoo. In your oil and gas news, the Railroad Commission is concerned about a possible expansion of the Rice's whale critical habitat in the Gulf of Mexico. The National Marine Fisheries Service would have the habitat expanded over 28,000 square miles along the East Texas coast to Florida's coast. The RRC says the proposed area may not be justified because the study predicting Rice's whale distribution has not been peer-reviewed or publicly released. The current proposal undermines the credibility of such designations and could negatively impact the delicate balance between species protection and responsible economic development. And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a time to bring more exposure to this disease. But people aren't the only ones that get diagnosed with breast cancer. Animals can too. West Texas faces many issues with animals, whether it's animal cruelty or not enough space to maintain them. Breast cancer is an issue that may go unnoticed, especially in older female dogs who haven't been spayed. The toll that the cancer takes on their bodies is large, and it will shorten their lives and could lead to constant pain. Cancer is the leading cause of death in dogs and cats, but there is a simple solution.
So we really want to push that, we want to get our pets spayed or neutered, so we can make sure that there is no cancer and then also help control the pet population. It just depends. You can always try to remove a tumor, but if it spreads to other areas, then it can become something life-altering.
It's also important to make sure your dogs and cats are up to date with their vaccinations to make sure they don't get sick from other diseases. And Odessa College took time today to honor those who took part in the 30 for 30 challenge. The school recognized the participants as well as individuals who battled for the top prize. Each year in October, Odessa College hosts the 30 for 30 challenge, which asks that you exercise for 30 minutes a day throughout the month of September.
Right off the bat, it made both of my arms numb. So it was very exciting. It was almost like I did not know how to respond. I'm a mother of 4. And so I don't know how to accept anything for myself. It's about my children. So just really in awe and surprise, shock, more like it.
Congratulations to all who participated. And now for a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. See all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. And still ahead, Governor Abbott, President Biden, and leaders all across the world have announced they stand with Israel. We have more details on the Israel-Palestinian conflict when we return to CBS 7 News at 9. This morning, Governor Abbott spoke at a solidarity gathering for Israel at Dell Jewish Community Campus in Austin. The governor said he is stepping up at patrols at Jewish and Israel-related locations. He says he also executed an executive order prohibiting any state agency from purchasing anything produced in or exported from the Gaza Strip or any organization or state actor with ties to Hamas.
Texas stands with Israel in its right to defend itself against the war criminals who unleashed this mayhem. Texas wants to make sure that the Jewish community and the Israeli community in Texas knows what the state of Texas is doing. Texas took action today to support the Israeli and the Jewish communities, to combat anti-Semitism and the potential threats.
The governor has also called for flags to be raised at half-staff starting at sunrise tomorrow to honor those in Israel who have lost their lives. The Israeli military says it has largely gained control in the nation's south after the shocking attack by Hamas. The Israeli government ordered Gaza sealed off from food, fuel, and other supplies. The death toll in Gaza is close to 700. CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
In the war's third day, Israel stepped up deadly airstrikes on the Gaza Strip, while Hamas continues to fire rockets across the border.
The forces of civilization must support Israel in defeating Hamas.
Hamas's military wing pledged to kill captured Israelis if attacks on Gaza targeted civilians without warning. Among the captives is an 85-year-old grandmother who was paraded through the streets of Gaza.
I'm sure she's very scared, and I'm sure she feels very alone.
In Israel, more bodies were found after Hamas attacked southern Israeli towns, killing hundreds of civilians and shocking the world. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu compared the attacks to those committed by ISIS.
Slaughtering families in their homes, massacring hundreds of young people at an outdoor festival, kidnapping scores of women, children, and elderly, even Holocaust survivors.
President Biden met with his national security team at the White House Monday morning. Mr. Biden called the situation in Israel heart-wrenching and said some American citizens remain unaccounted for. White House officials tell CBS News that the president plans to deliver remarks on the attack on Israel on Tuesday. In Jerusalem, mourners gathered to bury a colonel who tried to fight terrorists near a large music festival in southern Israel. At least 260 bodies have been found at the site, while others are missing, believed to have been kidnapped. At the funeral, the soldier's father recited the prayer for the dead for his son. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
After a phone call, the leaders of France, Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, and the United States released a joint statement expressing their, quote, steadfast and united support to the state of Israel and our unequivocal condemnation of Hamas and its appalling acts of terrorism.
Well, it does look like some warmer days ahead before things cool off, but I'm guaranteeing more fall weather's on the way, and we'll talk about it coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, we are going to be looking at some warmer weather in our forecast. Taking a look at our weather makers right now. Again, these are the upper levels of the atmosphere. And what steers or makes the weather? Well, we're in between storm systems right now. One here in Ontario going into Quebec. That's what brought us the fall weather this last weekend. Here comes the next one moving onshore across the Pacific Northwest. That's what's going to bring us fall weather this coming weekend. In between, though, a little ridge of high pressure is going to warm temperatures up above where they should be this time of the year. But watching this little trough right here, this little wrinkle in the atmosphere, that is going to be moving over West Texas coming up tomorrow. It could spark some thunderstorms for parts of the area. Taking a look at the Texas view of the satellite and radar, we do have a little bit of Pacific moisture streaming in the mid to high levels. Those are those high clouds we're seeing. But for the most part, though, the rain showers associated with this are down across portions of deep South Texas right now. So we're going to see more of those high clouds in our forecast as high temperatures today, again, running a little bit above where they should be this time of the year for most locations. We topped out at 85. Out at the Miller National Air and Spaceport. Now, taking a look at that West Texas Futurecast, keeping some of that high cloudiness around the area overnight tonight, primarily lower Trans-Pecos into the Big Bend. But here comes that disturbance. You can kind of see it right here with these cumulus clouds that are developing into showers and thunder showers after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then some of that will spread into the Trans-Pecos, southeast New Mexico, even the western Permian Basin through the evening hours. So we can't rule out an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but they're going to be very very isolated once you cross east of the Pecos River. Now for the rest of tonight, things look pretty quiet out there as we're going to see cool conditions and down into the mid-50s tomorrow. Again, running about 3 to 5 degrees above where we should be this time of the year. Into the mid-80s, and your CBS7 First Alert exclusive 10-day forecast shows the temperature roller coaster arriving. We're going to go up, 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 and then down quite a bit. Upper 40s for the first time this fall season coming up for Friday and for the morning of the eclipse, which is on Saturday. Right now, the weather looks pretty good for it.
Still ahead, senators and representatives are back in special session to discuss education in Texas. We have more details up next in your political news on CBS 7 News at 9. Across Texas, it is day one of the special legislative session, and lawmakers are back in Austin tackling tough issues the governor has laid out in his agenda. The Finance Committee has been meeting for hours now, talking about school funding. The chair of the Finance Committee filed a bill late this afternoon that called for a small increase in the basic allotment on top of funding for teachers. Meanwhile, the House opened its session today for about 24 minutes, then adjourned until later this week. Committees in each chamber will debate one of the governor's big ticket items, school choice, specifically the Education Savings Account program, which uses taxpayer dollars to send students to private school. This is a highly divisive issue, one that the two chambers could not agree on previously. And continuing in your political news, the son of the late Senator, Attorney General, and presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy announced today he is shedding his Democratic Party affiliation and running for president as an independent. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. made the announcement steps from Independence Hall in Philadelphia. The longtime environmental lawyer and anti-vaccine activist told a crowd of about 300 that it's time to heal a divided nation and return the power to the people. He pledged to work with Republicans and Democrats and to listen from stakeholders, every side and beyond on all issues.
The Democrats are frightened that I'm going to spoil the election for President Biden. And the Republicans are frightened that I'm going to spoil it for President Trump. the truth is, they're both right.
Until today, Kennedy was running as a Democrat. While he said it was a difficult decision to let go of his family's party, his siblings issued a statement denouncing his White House bid. And still ahead, a Midland veteran will be keeping warm this winter with his new heating, a cooling system. Hear about his story and the program that donated the system next on CBS 7 News at 9. Take a look at this. Today, a Midland veteran received a brand new heating and cooling system for free as part of a program called Feel the Love. The system was donated by Lennox and the installation was done by the Bosworth Company. Every year, those businesses select local families who have selflessly donated themselves to professions that make a difference in the community. This year's winner was Michael Hall, a Purple Heart veteran who served in Afghanistan. Hall was nominated by his family, friends, and co-workers for his selfless character, unwavering commitment to providing for his family, being an exceptional husband, and an incredible father. What a beautiful story, Tom.
Yes, it is, and congratulations to him. Probably need that coming up this weekend because we're going to get down into the 40s coming out by Friday and Saturday morning. In the meantime, though, a little bit of a warm-up in the forecast. We could be flirting with 90 degrees come Wednesday and Thursday, but then we'll see a cold front arrive again, dropping those temperatures, 40s for the first time this year. I should say this season, this fall season for the morning lows. Right now, the eclipse forecast looks A-OK. Plenty of sun, clear skies for it.
Well, I'm certainly excited for some jacket weather, Tom, and it looks like we might get it on Saturday.
Yeah, that's going to be the other thing, too. If you're going to be out for the eclipse, the annular eclipse, the Ring of Fire eclipse, well, we are going to be looking at some pretty nice conditions in our forecast for it. And it looks like, again, we've kind of breaking the spell of those 90s, even though we will kind of come close coming up on Wednesday and Thursday before that front arrives in the area.
Well, we're maybe not at fall weather yet, but we're definitely getting there. So this is a great forecast. All right. Well, thanks for watching CBS 7 First Alert News at NCW. We have more news coming up tonight on CBS 7 News at 10.